What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. One of the things I've been telling you guys is that traditional media is going away. It's going the same way as radio. Radio has basically become completely irrelevant. But traditional media, I wouldn't say essentially that it's going away, but it's going away as we know it, right? A few weeks ago, I've actually reported that CNN was looking to do layoffs. Why? Well, because their ratings are falling significantly. I think that could largely be contributed to all of the hate mongering that came along with trying to go against Trump and not being objective. Journalism has changed to where there's an agenda tied to the media itself. And I think that there's always been an agenda tied to the media, but now people have more options. And with more options, they scatter and they go about finding the people that actually rock with them, similar to how you guys rock with me, right? And so I did report that CNN was looking to do layoffs, that they were culling. We know Don Lemon got let go. I think that's partly because he's just not that good of a journalist, but we let these media companies prop him up and then push this agenda upon us, which is not necessarily conducive or beneficial to the reader or the watcher. But MSNBC is no different. MSNBC is in shambles. This election cycle, including election night, Fox News was a clear winner. CNN was in last place, but MSNBC wasn't far behind. And don't let these places fool you by looking at percentages, because they'll say, oh man, it was this percentage drop, but it's much more significant than that, because a huge percentage of people stopped tuning into these networks because they realized that they were biased. Well, one of the people that actually is on MSNBC, two of the people is Joy Reid, the other one is Rachel Maddow. Now, recently released that Rachel Maddow's salary is reportedly being cut. Now, we're sourcing the New York Post right here, but it's being reported on multiple different outlets. I didn't want to wait till the Millionaire Morning Show to have this conversation with you guys, and so we talking right now. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, her salary is being cut by a reported $5 million despite being a ratings Viagra as parent company Comcast deals with a difficult time. So essentially what you see happening right now is that Comcast is basically looking to shed dead weight. One of the places that they're looking to reportedly shed is MSNBC and other affiliates that's not necessarily adding value into its portfolio, as well as the fact that traditional media is no longer going to continue to exist in the way that it is. You know, streaming wars is going on, but I think that YouTube is going to be one of the clear winners. Obviously, Netflix. But again, MSNBC, CNN, they have some hard decisions to make. But let's deep dive into the article, and then I'm gonna break it down a little bit further for you guys. So MSNBC slash their star anchor Rachel Maddow. I don't know how she's the star anchor. That's crazy. We're gonna need to reevaluate this lineup. Salary by $5 million as the left-leaning network continues to reel from parent company's Comcast decision to spin off its struggling cable properties. Okay, Maddow, who rakes in $30 million a year, which is insane to me. It's not insane that you could rake in $30 million a year. It's insane that you're raking in $30 million a year, but you don't actually add that much value back into the company, which is one reason why they're renegotiating. $25 million, I don't think that that's enough of a haircut. And I'm not one to ever, count people's pockets, but God, you gotta really, really be adding value into the network and doing a lot of things if you're still making 25 to $30 million a year. The Rachel Maddow show, just one day a week on Mondays, renegotiated for a $25 million salary for the next 5 years. So you telling me that Rachel Maddow is still making $125 million over the next 5 years? And the show only comes on one day a week? Listen, if MSNBC don't start figuring this stuff out, it's gonna be a bloodbath. They say this is a difficult time. They needed to keep her. One executive told the news site, which tells me that they just don't understand the new media landscape. No one else can do what she does. You can't build a brand like it overnight. Interesting. Another executive called Maddow ratings Viagra. They go on to say a MSNBC spokesperson declined to comment. Source with knowledge disputed that Maddow's haircut was for $5 million, but would not say for how much less she would be earning, meaning that she did take a haircut, but it is estimated and we don't know, but different sources are reporting different things. One person is saying they wouldn't say how much, it could be less or more, but they're anticipating it being around $5 million. The pay reduction comes as the panic engulfed MSNBC's 30 Rock headquarters in Midtown as the Post reported over Comcast's plan to spin off its cable channels by the end of 2025. Means they got to sink or swim, baby, as individuals. Splitting off MSNBC from NBC News could force the cable channel to change its name, logo, and headquarters and may lead to layoffs. Ain't no may, layoffs is coming, which means that it might be a lot of talent to be sourced if you can find the right people that actually add value into what you're building. I'm building my own network. Maddow's new deal will keep her in the anchor chair on Monday nights and allow for her to produce podcasts and documentaries. That should be interesting. I'd love to see how she could do on her own as an independent. The network also plans to use her as a secret weapon on other shows when there's breaking news. A secret weapon. Interesting. MSNBC's ratings have tanked 54% in the days after the president-elect Donald Trump's victory over Vice President Kamala Harris, a win that left MSNBC's staunchly anti-Trump hosts speechless. You cannot have a drop off of over 54% and think that this is a sustainable business. The ratings were down 40% from this time last year. We were so Harris propaganda that when she lost, viewers were shocked. One on-air commentator told the Ankler, it turned into one giant circle jerk, an echo chamber. If MSNBC wants to be of service to its viewers, they can't keep them in fantasy land. Now, the network's producers are wrestling with how to move forward as the only safe space for liberal TV audience. Here's my question. Why can't they separate the difference between opinion and being a dedicated network to only liberal people? Don't they know that that is a dying space? It says during Trump's first administration, MSNBC hosted Democrats who speak Republican, like Hugh Hewitt and Nicole Wallace, one insider said, but the company is unsure how to handle the Star Wars freak show of Trump's new appointees, one producer told them. I don't know if having these people on will put any useful information out. MSNBC is sure about Maddow, though, the one executive calling her a ratings Viagra. Meanwhile, the network's other star anchors, Joe Scarborough, which we know that he is a meltdown waiting to happen, Mika of the Morning Joe, have come under fire for cozying up to Trump after years of criticizing him on air. And we already know how that went. So the liberals basically freaked out and said, oh, we're not going to watch you anymore because you now are trying to be objective and you've been on Trump's plane and you going to Mar-a-Lago and all of this other stuff. But basically what the people are calling for is objective news while at the same time being able to separate the difference between opinion and an agenda. And I don't think that MSNBC or CNN will be able to do that. CNN, they kind of brand themselves as, oh, we're the only objective news outlet. BS. BS. But they picked a side and they lost. For some reason, they still was under the idea that Kamala Harris would even put up a fight in this election, but Trump is 2 for 2 when it comes to manhandling women, as far as in a presidential election. And more importantly, I think the media landscape is changing dramatically. There's going to be clear winners, there's going to be clear losers, and those that can produce a great show without a network is going to be the ones that then take the prize, and they're going to be the new kings of this whole thing. But that remains to be seen. That's just my prediction. Most of my predictions is absolutely correct. And I absolutely think that MSNBC is going to be doing layoffs and CNN has already started, right? So it'll be interesting as the news continues to come out. I told y'all I'll be continuing to cover this. It'll be interesting to see the news continue to come out to see how much of a haircut these people take and whether or not this network can justify these huge costs that's associated with holding on to these anchors, let alone the networks themselves. But we'll see. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. And then last but not least, get your tickets to come and kick it with me December 14th. I love you. I appreciate you. All of that link is in the description, including discount code Anton. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.